Hey, hi, this is Srinivas, Tamada, founder of 9lesson.info. This video is about Angular routing. I posted few articles about Angular, like it's a lot of concepts, but this video is completely about the Angular 6 and the new routing concept. And this is the actual demo, how this works with index routing and the home routing with the child components. If you see this demo, there is a forgot component and sign up component. It's kind of a pages, and if anybody comes directly, it goes to the login page. Once user logs in, right now it's not connected to any database. You can give any things, and when I give this login, it's actually setting up the session. So once it logged in, it go to the different menu, and it is actually a home router actually. So if anybody access log in this case, it's again redirect to the home. So this way you can like control the routes. So once you log out again, it goes back. So this is what the concept, and this is a complete video series. I'm going to break it up, and I'm going to explain the how the styles working. All these things I'm going to explain in this video. And before that, make sure install the node and install Angular command line, the latest version. And for better experience, try to install the Visual Code, because I'm going to use this now. And we are going to use Booma for design concept. I mean the design. This is a lightweight CSS. So let's start. So open your terminal, and then if you already installed the Angular CLI, you can start a new project like ng new Angular routing, and I'm just adding a routing thing here. It comes with a basic routing, and then I use style as Sass because it's basic Angular one. It comes with CSS, but the Sass is advanced, so this is the best way to generate a new project. So this will take some time to pull all the dependencies. In the meanwhile, try to uh, install the Visual Code and try to install all these extensions. So these are my recommended extensions. So yeah, just this is I'm using an Atom theme and auto import and the path intelligence. So this way you can import the libraries very quickly, and any services, any related stuff. This is for prettier and for the code formatting, all the stuff, and this is for icons. Yep, the project has been like installed. If you see this, NPM has an audit fix as well. So try to, because nowadays GitHub, everybody is actually finding out the any like vulnerabilities. So try to give NPM Audit Fix so that it will pull all the latest libraries if anything missing in Angular CLI. So I'm going to use that now. So just go to the project, and now I'm going to give npm audit fix. This basically updates the package.json. Yeah, the project has been, if you see this, there is one package got updated with 12 some break changes, and now you can just start your project with ngserve, and it runs at like localhost 4200, or you can give like, you can break it up with Control C, and you can give ngserve. This actually opens up with a new window. So this is what the project is running right now. Let's go back to the code and try to open a new tab, because this is, I think you can see all the changes lively here. So now this project required two things. One is called index routing and the home routing. Under index routing, the login, sign up, and forgot password will come, and the home routing, all the things once user got logged in, all the things will comes up. And if anybody types something else in the URL, that's called a page not found. This is a one more route. So I'm going to create those three components, and first I'll try to explain how the normal routing works. And in this video, like instead of the terminal, I'm going to use the Visual Code terminal, so that I can cover both of the things in the same screenshot. So So install the code command. That's basically for the location you can use code command. That is like you can use command P and you can give this arrow and install code command. If you type it, you can just click this, it automatically connects with your terminal. I don't know about the Windows, but maybe there are some options are there. So here you can see the inbuilt terminal. So I'm going to use this so that we can cover both of things. So now for this we need like two components, the main components that's called it as like index and home. Under that, like so many things I'm going to create. So let's go like ng generate component index, and if you see here in the source file and the app, you'll see the index. The same thing you can create in this world. It's called shortcuts, like home component, and the home has been created now. So this is one component and this one component, and one more I'm going to create. It's called no page. Yes, and now I'm just clearing off all the stuff and the, let me pull down, and I don't want all this stuff. Let's see, this is what the route now. Let's close it. Yeah, now the project is showing the blank. So now we need to connect the routings with the index and the home. So initially I'll explain with the basic routing, then I'll go with the lazy loading thing. So initially we'll work on the design so that if you work with the design, you will understand more about menus and all. So now go back to the approuter.module.es, and there is a routes. We're going to drop this in future, but you can just simply create like this path, and if it is empty, and give component, and when it's a base, like default one, it is like a home component. Try to install the plugin so that all the imports comes automatically. And then other path, it's called login. We call it as a login. No, I'm call it as an index, the component and the index. And if you want, you can change it to home, but by default we need to show some pages. So yeah. And the other one, path, the star means it's no page, and the component, let me change the name, and the no page. The three things got wired up. Let's save it and see the demo now. If you see, by default it is a home component, and if I give the login, so we don't have a login, so that's why it goes to the no found page. And if I give the index, it's come to the index page. And quickly, like we need to install the Booma, so that like this is a blank pages, we can just tweak it up quickly and change the design little bit. And now there is a small documentation is available for the Booma. I mean, you have to install nodes as globally, but otherwise you can just directly go and install this. Sorry, I'm not using this. Let me pull up back. I'm installing the Booma. It's a third-party CSS, and it has a lot of documentation in it. Like if you see here how to import all these things. So once it's got installed in the node modules, we are going to use this. Yes, so this has some problems. If you want, just give the NPM Audit Fix always, so that it'll update with the latest ones. And now close and go to the styles.sas. This is the default one, and just copy paste the code. This is basically importing the Booma libraries. I mean the SAS, all the CSS. If you see the output now, new font. Yeah, now we are going to implement the footer thing. Basically, entire application footer will be the same, because basically you'll maintain the terms and conditions and the copyright issues, or any any other contact information, you'll keep it on the footer. So there is a footer component. You will find it on the layouts in the footer. You can just there is a source code available, and just copy paste it and change this text. Let me copy this. So right now our project is running under the app component. So I'm going to copy the footer here, because we are going to maintain the same footer for everywhere. If you are not, and if you are maintaining differently, then you can go and change it in the add it in the index and the home. But right now it is a common one, so I'm just modifying this with, if you see the demo now, so the footer came up. I think I need to save it again. The visual code is a bit slow to update stuff, so yeah. And now gives the login. It comes with no page, and if I give the index, it comes with the index works. And there are some standards in this. Now try to import that, like there is a div class, so that it will give you the paddings, everything. Container is widescreen, it takes the full screen. Inside this we are going to load everything. So now actual thing is we need to maintain a different headers for index, and the home is different, because index is not come with a logout button and home comes with a logout. So that's why we're going to maintain two different menus. Yeah, there is a navbar. If you want, you will get the exact navbar here. So let me copy this and paste it. And there is some other thing also, like how you're going to implement the menu, everything. Instead I'm going to copy this. Yeah, so I'm applying it here on top, and here is the menu, and here is the logo. So let me import the logo for the default one. And I'm going to add a menu here. Like there is actually this specified in the comments, like you can start with the navbar starter end. So I'm just giving class navbar end, and inside that everything is an item. So I'm just giving a class navbar item. Then it is like for the home, like I'm just going to give dashboard. And products, I'm going to create 3 different pages again. This is sample pages, products and the settings, and another one is the logout. The same thing, I'm copy pasting it again. In the login, sorry, and I'm changing to this one as a login button, and sign up, and we don't want these things. So now let's see the difference. Now if you see the index, it has login and sign up, and the home, the default one, this comes with a different menu and the logout. So we need to write all the functions, everything for logout, all these things. And this is how it works. And if you see here in the no page, nothing is there, so you can give as a default menu, or you can use the same menu as well if you want. So I'm going to use the same menu, because the no page we need to show it in the every time, like even in the index route or home route. Yeah, I'm going to use the same thing for the no page as well, but instead I'm dropping these menus. So if you see here now for the error things, there is a blank, and we need to modify this part as well because it's looking a little ugly. So there is some content blocks. It's under the layouts. So I'm going to modify that. Go to the index, and it's under the p tag. So instead of that, I'm going to import that in. It's a content, and there is a rule called section. There is a class, and then I'm copy pasting this inside that. Instead of p tag, I'm going to give d. In the class, I'm giving again container, and I'm just adding my own custom class because I don't want to disturb the existing ones. So if you want, you can add whatever you want. So the same thing I'm going to follow up for the home as well. Instead of that, I'm just giving home, and the no page as well. Instead, I'm just giving h1, and then page not found. And this is a home, and you see here this page not found. Yeah, and we added a custom class, so I'm going to add quickly some minimum height for that. So minimum height some 400px, and we have a menu bar, but it is like there is no, see, if you see the minimum height I gave, it got pushed down, and I need to differentiate the menu bar as well to, because it's completely blank. So instead I'm giving just nav and the border bottom, so 1px solid, and I'm just giving black. Yep, so there is a bar came up, and this is the index page and the home page. Now it looks good. So then you can understand like what we're going to do for next. Now the main thing is we're going to convert this with the lazy loading. So actual the tutorial is started from here. This for basic, like if you want to follow the same approach, you can create n number of components like this, and you can wire up everything is here. So but like everywhere you have to repeat the same thing. Like if you have a menu bar, you have to repeat the same component. You move the component, you have to include it everywhere. But instead we are going to load all the child components like dashboard, settings, products. We're going to load it here the same way for index. And this part we're going to load like login, sign up, and the forgot password, forms, everything. So little bit tricky here. So now I'm going to change this. I'm going to introduce modules here. So let me clear off these things. Now we are in the same project. Let me clear it off. Now I'm going to create a modules. You can use ng commands to generate a modules. So ng generate module and index. Give the same name, otherwise it will create outside. If you see the index, you will find the new file inside the index now. Sorry, it's a spell mistake. And let me refresh this. So if you see here, there is a module. This is basically like in the lazy loading, we are going to include all the components in this. It's a dynamically generated one, so we're going to declare all the new components. Everything is here. But When you use ng commands, it's automatically take care. You will see the changes now. And the same way I'm going to use shortcuts. I can use M, and for the home, yes, there is a home, it got created. For the no page, we're not going to create any module because we're not going to import anything inside this. Whatever design you want to add it here for the 404, you can add it here. We are not loading any child components here. So that's the reason I'm not creating any module. And you will see the new files here, the same way for home and the index. Now come to the main part. Let's close this. I'm going to create index under index, like login, sign up, and the forgot password pages. So using ng command, I'm going to use it. So ng gc for component, like I'm just giving the index, it's a folder. Inside that I'm going to create the login. So that way, like, this login is actually binding with this module. If you see this, now I'm just refreshing the page. There is a login module, it's called child component, got created. In the same way, it got binded with the index module as well. And I'm going to create one more page called sign up and forgot. So these are the three child components. It's automatically imported here. Now this part is done. Now go back to the home. Same thing you apply for home as well. So if you have a like my account or profile, it depends on your project, but right now I'm just creating 3 pages called dashboard, products, and the settings. It depends on your project pages, you can create it. It's considered as a page. Now dashboard and settings, and products, clear. So yes, here also 3 components got created. Now we are going to bind all the child components with the index component. So because it's under the index, so I'm going to introduce a new file called indexrouter.ts. So here, like, I'm going to bind everything. I'm going to set up all the routes here. So for this you need, this is not auto generated file, you have to generate these things. From Angular router, we need to import the router module. So we imported the route. So this one is export and a variable. This is called index routes, and created an array the same way like how we implemented for the main app module. The same thing we are going to do it here, but forget about that. So yes, here it is, comes from the path. It's a default path, means this is the root container. So component, we need a index component. So under index component, we are going to create a child components. So it's called children. And this array, like, you can create a multiple paths, like login, so this is for login page, and same thing I'm going to repeat that again for sign up. And I forgot, instead I'm changing to go back and click sign up. It automatically imported and forgot. Yes, this route has been completed, and the same way we need to do it for the home route as well. So home router.ts, Anyway, we need this. I'm just copying this and pasting it here. The same thing, export constant, and the home routes. I'm just going to copy paste this. When you copy paste this, we're very careful because it's going to mess up everything. So home component, and this is like by default I'm going to show the dashboard component. It's like, yeah, and the settings. So these are the path names. If you give localhost 4200 and you'll give settings, you'll try to load the it first load the home component with the menu, and under that it comes and load the settings component. And the other one is products. So this is products component. Yep, this is done. So now the same thing I'm going to create for no pages, because I'm going to drop this off and I'm going to load everything in a different way with a module. It's because we're converting this into a lazy loading thing. So here also I'm creating no page dot routes dot ts. I'm going to copy the same. Nope, I don't want everything. So, and you can copy paste this one if you want. Yep, the wiring has. For the lazy loading, we need to create a one more main route. For that's called app route. In this app router, we're going to like connect all the home, index, and the no page routes, because we are going to drop this app module route. So instead we are going to connect this one in the app module. So anyway, this one also need like import and routes, because of multiple things. So Angular router, and the export and the routes. If you want, you can give a different name. It's app routes, but I'm just giving a routes because it got conflicted sometime. So now you're going to import the three routers like index, home, and the no page routes. But basically for us, like, home is the base one because it's empty. If user is not giving anything in the route, we need to come to the home. For index, like login, sign up, and forget has like, it has a own path. But for the home, like the default one, we are not showing anything. So that way, like, user comes directly entering the website based on his user logged in status, we're going to decide. So we're going to import these three routers inside this. Like, this is called a spread operator, which means it's going to import all the child components, everything. If you want, you can write everything there, but this way you can maintain everything. And like in future, if you're going to add some more child components in the home, you can directly come and add it here instead of importing everything here. The same thing we're going to import it here with the spread operator, like home routes. So the order is very, very important because the home is like the default one. Make sure if you change it, it will create a problem. So then index routes and no page routes. Yeah, this is done now. Now we are not going to use this anymore. I'm dropping off this. Instead of the routes, I'm just giving a blank, and any unnecessary modules you can just drop off. I think it's a mistake. Yeah, I think I just followed. Yes, and we are not using all of these. You can just drop off these so that code will be clean and The final bundle will be little less size, so make sure don't include any unnecessary ones. Now come to the app module. So this is the most important thing. The same app router, we are going to import it here. That way the app will understand in the lazy loading way. So for this you need a router module. So I'm just importing a router module from the Angular router. Come here and there is an imports. I'm just loading it here. Now import the routes from the app router. So this routes. So let's import that. It's called app router. So this routes I'm copying it and pasting it here because this route has already an array. So import the routes because now it will load all this stuff. So and everything has again individual routes. So all these things got loaded here now. Now you will get a blank screen, it will not load anything. But if you see the inspect and you will see the actual error, what you missed it. So right now it is saying dashboard component is not part of the ng module. So which means that all these things, the app is not understanding it. I mean, because we didn't tell anywhere. So this is the main root now. So we need to app.module should know everything what is there inside the project. So right now, like all the home modules are here and the same way index modules are here. So we need to import these two inside the modules because this is the app module, so that app will understand. I'm importing the app home module. It automatically imports that as well, in the same way for index module. Here now if you load it, like you will see the home works, because it should not load as a home works because it should work as a dashboard works, which means that we haven't changed in the home component. So because we need to load everything here the same way for index. Yeah, if you open anything like login, it comes like index. So we need to change that. So yeah, instead you can just change it to router. Yes, router outlet, and the same thing for the home as well. Now look at the output. Now if you see, it is coming login works, and if I give the sign up, it comes sign up works and the forgot. And if I'm not giving anything, it's going to the dashboard and the products and settings. Yeah, now the expected URLs are working, like login, sign up and forgot. All these things are working. If you want, you can include a number of components as well here. And the next video, like I'm going to explain like how to connect all these things and how to, it's a continuous series. Like you just try this, and next video, like I'm going to explain like how to like connect with the auth guards and how we can store the session and all. We'll discuss more about that. Thank you.